Hello and welcome to Around the Console, and we're here today to discuss Doctor Who: The War Machines. And joining me today are Cliff, Bob, Craig, and John.
As he tries really hard to remember everybody's names.
I
so
just
I'm
wondering
still not
which
seeing
order
it in
I should have
ages.
gone in. That's all.
It has been a while.
Yeah,
It's been a while for
very
a reason.
Well,
mate.
and look at your beard, Suky. I'm sure that's got bigger since last I saw you. It's like a
No,
snow.
it's because I'm sitting
Not
closer
possible.
to the computer.
Oh,
That's
right.
why.
More
if it had
better
been back
to see
here,
those
then it'd
lips.
just be the same sort of length.
Wow.
Right, guys. So
Is that what you do when you go on chat rooms? You kind of have to sit close to the screen so everything looks a bit bigger.
Well, that's what you do when you want to send a
that
dick pic,
tunes.
Craig. Make sure you take it really close to your cock, and then
What I found is you get the phone right under the balls,
oh yeah,
you know, like to
yeah.
get the uplift of the
Yeah.
shaft.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, right. I'll take these.
Thanks for all
Right.
these tips. I am
Yeah,
I am making a note of everything here. So
The
just
same applies to towers and large construction as well. So if you like, I don't know, we've got a
Thanks,
tower in York called
thanks
called
isn't
the-
bad. Kingdom.
okay,
Brunel.
guys, we're going to go back to this review. Let's go back to this.
Oh
review.
yeah.
All right, let's have a quick thought on what you all thought of the War Machines. Let's go with Craig.
Well, I chose this last time. I was really in the mood to watch it. And, I really have quite a soft spot for this story. I enjoyed it. I was really in the mood to watch it. I'm not always a big Hartnell lover. I appreciate them, but they're a bit dated. But I really enjoyed this. So it's going to be quite positive for me.
Nice. Johnny Boy.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was nice. As like Craig said, it's a nice change of pace to do our old Hartnell. It's quite a complete, nice story. And we got to see some interesting companions, and I enjoyed the computery stuff. And it was an imaginative little tale. It didn't go on too long as well, which is a positive.
Cliff, what do you think?
I thought it was all right. It was ages ago since last seen it, a few years ago. Well, COVID was on. I watched it again. Yeah, it's one of those you can watch. I know it can easily forget a lot of bits, but I like the comparison of that and 2001. I'm not sure if 2001 came out before this, the book, but yeah, I enjoyed it.
Nice. Go on then, Bob.
It's a good one. It's a good one. Yeah, I mean, we'll come in more detail, but it's a great cast, great idea, nice 4-parter. Everyone to me is on good form, and I like it because it's kind of like Pertwee. It's that sort of when Troughton starts going a bit towards going towards the Pertwee era, but they didn't at this point. So like a modern day, Earth-based thing with the military. It was quite good, and the concept's brilliant. Computers taking over the world, internet, and all that. And the good thing that came out of this on the extras, there's not many extras on the DVD, but the post office tower and the history behind that, it's quite. I didn't really know much about it, and if anything, apart from enjoying the episode, I'm quite pleased I learned a bit about the old post office tower because it's a hell of a thing.
Hosted by Tony Benn, wasn't it?
Well, it's interesting. I've been recently listening to a lot of history stuff about the early 70s and the political upheaval, all that sort of stuff. And the Doctor Who's are cited as kind of they tend to like whatever's the government really want to push, they will push it at the time. And this era of Hartnell was guilty of this as well. For the post office tower was a really big. It was a really big symbol of British going on, advancing into the 70s and looking positive, even though it was a false dawn. But it was good that Doctor Who is this kind of serial that picks up on these things, and that's why it's always current. It's always current whenever it is, and it's quite a positive. Interesting. I thought.
What you Suky?
Yeah, well, I quite enjoy this story. It's been one of my favourite Hartnell stories because it's quite a simple thing and it's ahead of its time. It does remind me of Pertwee in his pomp, and so I quite enjoy this story. I'm not happy about the fact that Dodo was sort of written out. She didn't get a proper ending, but I did like the two new companions as they gave me breath of fresh air.
I always liked Dodo. I just didn't think she was written very well. That's the only thing.
I don't remember seeing any previous episode with Dodo in it.
No,
so,
I don't think you've done one with Dodo in, John.
So I don't think I'm particularly bothered.
I think she when she looks so much like his granddaughter, though.
Yes, Susan.
And I think that was when he was writing it. It's hard for them to try to change people's views when they watch it. So if you watch it first time, you think granddaughter, and they're trying to give a different spin. I just think there was always trying to write her out of the story. Like this one ends up back
there's
at the
so
club.
many. There's quite a few problems with Dowdow's character. I mean, she started off as a Cockney. Next thing you know, she's using RP. It's just, and the characters seem to change over the 4 or 5 stories she was in. So.
I was gonna say she wasn't in it a long time,
No.
was she? She wasn't a character you could really gel with anyway, and then obviously
Yeah,
she
you didn't know where
disappears
to
off.
put her. You didn't know where to put her, apart from being kind of cute. Well, that's why.
Well, this is an era which was quite a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes, because there were all things about William Hartnell trying to write him out and stuff like that. And then you had new producers. That's why one of the reasons Dowdow was written out was because the new producers came in, and they just wanted their own characters, and they decided to write her out halfway through a story.
Pretty harsh, though, wasn't it?
It feels
she's
like a
got the
clean
countryside
sweep,
to
doesn't it?
sleep.
Yeah.
I think
Super harsh.
well, I think
Just goes.
there's a different dynamic of having like a singular young female companion to having basically a young male and a female companion that can bounce off one another rather than just having to bounce off the Doctor.
Yeah.
And that's something we've seen repeatedly in companions that, you know, they often find, especially when there's a new showrunner, that they need to switch that dynamic a bit.
And that dynamic set, isn't it, straight away? Because, you know, obviously Polly's there, she's in the nightclub, she's got that kind of, you know, free spirit. Ben's a bit down, she cheers him up, and you get that idea that straight away they've got a rapport together, which obviously Dodo and the Doctor didn't. They did, but they didn't at the same time. It was a different generational thing. They've got that vibe. They're quite buzzing for the period.
It was very I thought it was quite Pertwee. Kind of, he was like
Pertwee light. It was Pertwee without the
punching.
zooming about and punching.
But it was good because he was hanging about with Sir Charles, and I quite liked.
I loved that. I loved Sir Charles
and all that, and he sort of didn't come out until they captured one of the war machines at the end.
But even
that was quite cool.
Sir Charles is there on the battlefield. The Doctor gives him the nod, and he tells someone else. It's pointless in being there completely, but it was great fun that he was in his posh voice.
It worked well.
Yeah, it worked well, and it's really, really good that the Doctor can just actually just walk in and be accepted by the hierarchy. He just comes in, and they're all just taking orders from him. Whereas you notice that other doctors sometimes in the past, when they've come to these authority figures, they've always been questioned. Whereas this Doctor just walks straight in 1960s London and just starts talking to the minister.
Has unit always been a thing at this point?
No, it doesn't come until Troughton.
This feels like it might be an idea for the thinking. Well, you know, it'd be good to have like British forces in the background. We can rely on and be part of the story whenever we want.
It has quite a gritty feel, doesn't it, compared to some others? Because a lot of it is obviously outside, and it's got that realistic. You know, we've got the army, you've got the military, you've got the traditional bureaucracy there, and the Doctor just works with it all exactly like you said. It has a kind of Troughton then into Pertwee feel.
Yeah.
He's also lost a lot. He's lost a lot of scientists, as Sir Charles, hasn't he? Because they've all been taken over by Vortan.
Yes,
that I think so. The Doctor's helpful because he has no scientists.
That's interesting that they named it Wotan, like sort of
Vortan.
Yeah, they've got God of War in it. It's Odin. Yeah, so I mean, it's like that's quite. I mean, they do make an attempt at explaining what it means. Was it short for something? Will operating thought analog. I mean, that's such bullshit. That's obviously
they could have thought better on that one.
Yeah, I could have worked something better out.
I did like the way the story was written to give in that old school British upper crust people sorting everything out. You know, the Doctor was with all the sirs and the scientists. It like harpers back for like World War II as they're there in the bunkers and they're trying to sort things out. And then you got the other side with the newer generation of the 60s and the club. And it ended up showing a good mix for whoever was watching it at the time, because when it was coming out, you can see
something relatable, wasn't there?
Yeah, very relatable.
But also on top of that, you've got the period in which it's like it's right in the middle of the Cold War. There's the nuclear threat that is perpetually there, and you do get the mistrust of scientists, which is kind of one of the main things about post World War II. It's like there's a very much an anti-science or a science mistrust because they could create something like Wotan if they can create nuclear bombs and such like. So.
And they got the like at that time as well. Is it the space race around 66? It's that going on about.
That's
Or was
cracking
that a
on
bit
in America.
later?
It's not. We're not getting involved with that shit. God,
But
no.
I did like
We
the
can
idea.
barely put a fucking tower up at this
Yeah,
point
that's true.
in our lives.
But I
With
did
a
like the
revolving
way
floor, revolving restaurant.
revolving floor, and people throw up on it. I like the way that it was like predicted of the internet when he's saying everything's going to be connected to this one main computer,
Yes.
which is the web. That's how it was
Yes.
first created, and everything will speak to this thing. But the only other drawback was that was rule everything.
I mean,
But in essence, the
it
idea
does,
of having the
but it
web
kinda-
on networking. Was,
that is it's an old
kinda
idea.
does.
It's an old idea, though. He's not. The Doctor's not the first one to pick up on that one.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a standard sort of
But the
logical.
idea that everything across the world would be connected within each bit, I thought, oh, that's quite good. And now it may, and especially with the relevance of AI now, of
Totally,
everyone
yeah.
shitting themselves.
Yeah.
If they're watching this, it has another connection. So it's really good if anyone's never seen it now to watch it.
It's that
To
Doctor
see
Who
what they
predicting
sort
the
of was
future.
predicting a lot of the
And when they
things.
were talking about IP addresses and TCP handshakes and shit, so it was
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah,
I
it was
thought,
great.
I thought it was great having a static IP address rather than the physical one.
I mean, it's it was very the future, wasn't it? And I for some reason I was thinking last week, turn the internet off, turn it off, and see what happens. Let's just go for it.
Fucking mayhem.
It'll be amazing, won't it?
No,
It'd just
it would
bring
be
down
awful.
everything.
You don't want
It'd
to
be
bring down
wonderful.
everything because people would die. But we've had this discussion in your nihilism before.
Who would die of not having the internet?
Fucking
Kids.
loads of things would die. It would be fucking
I'll tell you, who
terrible.
wouldn't. My mother and her partner. She doesn't have the internet. She don't like it. Doesn't trust it.
Yeah, but so many
That's fine.
systems resolve around it now, don't they?
Yeah, so
yeah.
I mean, you
But-
can't,
but
you
with-
can't
but
apply
without
to
your-
anything.
But without your mother knowing, if she's got TV, that is now run on the
No,
internet.
she don't do the internet.
So your
Don't do
mum
the
would be
internet.
all right, but the people that use the internet would be fucked.
Yeah.
All right, okay.
I'll be
I mean,
fucked
we'd
with
have
my
to meet up
coding at
and-
work.
We'd have to meet up and do a radio show.
Yeah, we have to
Something like that,
buy
wouldn't we? Of
buy
internet.
ourselves some CB and
Oh,
Yeah, imagine that's awesome. That's miles better than this shit.
no,
Fucking
it's the
TV.
fucking 70s. It was a
Morse
nightmare.
code. A Doctor Who
My
podcast.
dad
Over,
was into
over.
CB and all that stuff. It was terrible.
I've got them all on DVD, so I don't even need internet and Blu-ray. So why do I need the internet? Don't need it.
Well, I mean, you needed the internet in order to buy them, didn't
how
you?
are you going to get your football results? You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I'll go to every game on a Saturday in a helicopter.
There's no, I mean, satellites require it. You'd be no television or anything like that because there'd be no signals.
Plane travel.
And you, all right, you're telling me, Bob, with your
Internet
brand
cards.
new child and your child swelling future, that you could live without any TV to stick them in front of.
Yeah, Mad Max, just go out on the road.
Yeah,
Mad
that's the
Max
way.
is amazing. Live that dream. Doctor Who.
Yeah,
Doctor Who
oh,
gets
yeah.
Oh, I got a
mentioned
fact.
loads.
I got a fact. I
You
got a fact. I don't know if it's true.
That's not
Is it a
necessarily a
fact?
fact.
Can
then,
it
is
be
it?
a fact?
Not really a full fact.
Fucking
Is it-
theory.
There's a cameo of Brian Epstein in the club.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, Brian Epstein's in the club, in that Inferno club. Suky's shaking his head, but I found this out from the internet. Now, the internet wasn't there. I wouldn't have to find that fucking thing.
But also,
You'd have to read a book or something like
I
that.
thought I'll need to get a fact, but Suky hasn't found. I better found it.
I'll take your word for it. I have not heard anything about Brian Epstein.
And
being in
now
there.
I've got a theory. You know
Agreed.
when?
is
you've
this
seen the
theory
trailer-
banked? Is there any evidence to support this theory, by the way, or is it just fucking
Yeah.
somebody on a forum saying
Internet.
Internet.
that's not ever? Yeah.
Not only that, I found it on the internet and then I clarified it by putting in ChatGPT. Was Brian Epstein in this? And it came up. Contemporary pop culture, as such, Inferno Club has a special cameo by Brian Epstein.
Mike Reed was a cameo. The comedian Mike
Reed
Reed.
is in it.
Yeah.
Frank Butcher.
Kenneth
The, guy,
Kendall.
the bald guy out of the Dalek Master Plans in it. I don't know his name.
Yeah.
Post
also,
Office Tower. Post Office
Brian-
Tower had a cameo.
Brian Blessed riding Warwick Davis's dad is inside a war machine, which is how they
No way.
Brian Blessed goes on his Warwick Davis's dad's
Wasn't
shoulders.
April Fool's
and he
yesterday?
walks around with it.
Yeah,
Lifts it up
Nah.
for him. It does. It's how they work it. Dwarf,
just
giant on a dwarf.
Just to intercept Bob's mind flow. The designs of the machines were great. The designs were great. I thought it was really good. The way it moved was like really effective, and I think having even the title cards.
Yeah.
At the start of it was all that stuff. So it was
clever,
really
that.
mint. That would have been special or different, I imagine, at the time. So yeah, I think it was like you can tell there's a bunch of like. I was just thinking that at the bit where they put like the beams around the computer to trap it.
Yeah.
Yes.
First firewall.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's not, but
Without
it's
this-
the sort of shit that you like.
Without this episode,
Yeah.
internet won't be here.
They were very proud of the shot of the War Machine crashing through boxes, weren't they? Empty boxes. That was really, I quite like that all the time with its kind of like its arm up and down. Although the War Machine did actually really remind me of, the cleaners from Paradise Towers.
Yes, exactly that, Craig.
That it's straight. Although to be honest, I think they look more menacing in this than they do in Paradise Towers. Much as I do love the cleaners in Paradise Towers, this looks better. But yeah, I love the design and they kind of kept the way it kept having it shot around on the streets and in the factory and the smoke coming out. A bit Dalek-esque as well. But I just thought they looked
Very Dalek-esque, wasn't it?
Yeah. In fact, you probably could have just replaced the War Machine with a Dalek somehow and had a similar story.
Yeah, but they were always trying to replace the Daleks with something, or not replace them, but get something else.
Something else.
I think the key to this was that it was something of our building. It was our problem that we'd made. It was our AI that we created that took over.
Yeah,
and it was our own fault and our own hubris that did it, rather than having an alien like a Dalek have their own agency of it. It was better that it was our fault. I mean, tied in with the supposed optimism of having this fancy new telecommunications tower.
Yeah.
And look, it's all good, but then this bad stuff could happen.
Exactly. That's exactly like you were saying before about the Cold War. If you've got all this, we're going to end up killing ourselves.
Well, you look at it. This story doesn't have an actual human bad guy. Every human in this is being controlled by Volton. Right, the bad guy is the computer, and it's developed this thing. Now, something else, by the way, Sheps, there's no mention of Brian Epstein anywhere in Doctor Who.
Because it's a cameo from a mate. It's a mate who walked on. Anyway, I've got another theory, right? Okay, because I started the theory now. It's in my head, right? You know the new trailer, what they show him going back to the 60s to see the Beatles.
Yes,
the same club, I reckon.
Inferno. It could be.
That would be a good
reason. Not goes to a tavern.
Certainly could be. I don't know how big does it play a part in any other stories?
No.
No. So it's unlikely that they're going to pick the
War
but
they're always picking up stuff from the past.
And it's also the setting of it being in Covent Garden and that sort of part of London. So, there's a chance of that, I guess. But
yeah, exactly.
One of my favourite things, though, is the Doctor Who is required. It's quite an iconic thing, isn't it, in Doctor Who fandom? I mean, it is for me. I've heard it loads, and I love like I said, the fact he gets called Doctor Who like loads of times. It's not just like a one-off. They occasionally do it just one-off Doctor Who. They might mention it, but like to say it, keep saying it. Like Votan thinks he's called Doctor Who. I love it. I love that they do that. And I don't know if fandom at the time was so angry about everything, but they probably are now. Like, did they kick off at the time? Because people love kicking off when he gets called Doctor Who, doesn't he?
Yes.
The Doctor. It's so fun. I mean, but that's just silly.
But back in the day, there wasn't that organised fandom there.
No, that's what I mean. Yeah,
they would have just taken it as read that this story that he's always called Doctor Who, and they just taken it from this story. But
didn't have the internet.
Idiots.
Didn't have the internet.
Exactly. Didn't have the
and even things like like the credits for was Doctor Who at the end, weren't they? Whereas if changed later, didn't it, to the Doctor? So it kind of, as a kid growing up, I always thought it was Doctor Who rather than just the Doctor.
I mean, I'm still not clear on it at all, so I don't know what's going on.
Good, that's the best way. Just stay on both sides.
It doesn't matter. It's a big thing in Doctor Who fandom, John. This doc is he the Doctor Who?
No,
And
he's
people
not
used to
Doctor
go
Who.
mental if you call him Doctor Who. So I used to call him Doctor Who on purpose all of the time.
Yes.
To wind
In
up
my
people.
head, he's called Doctor something. No, he's called something that he calls himself the Doctor, and people say Doctor
The
Who.
healer.
Yeah,
And he
that's
doesn't have it.
that's how
So
I
it's
see
because
it.
he doesn't have a
Yeah.
name. So yes, that's
We don't know
right.
who he is. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like
Will we find out his name?
Oh,
Possibly at
no,
some
I
point.
doubt it. No, I don't think that. I think they'd keep
I
the
hope they don't.
mystery.
Yeah.
Mystery
They've
of the
nearly
the
tried.
character.
They've
Don't we
tried
found-
to do stuff, haven't they? a few
we found out his name in Invasion of Time, didn't we? When he was talking
Did
to
we?
his
No,
mate.
that was a nickname. Theta
Oh, it was
Sigma.
a joke, wasn't it?
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
That's the
Theta
nickname,
Sigma was
right.
a nickname.
I thought that was his real
Oh,
name.
so no, that was his nickname. So, but I quite like the fact that the Wotan actually knew what a TARDIS stood for as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was
But then
interesting.
I was
that,
trying to work it out why, but then I realised, of course, the TARDIS has been in the past. All right, and obviously there's got to be some mention of it and what the initials actually stand for.
Yeah.
So the
Well, it's
Wotan has actually picked it.
it's Lifetime learning. It's gone through the entire list of data, hasn't it? That's why it's so powerful. That's why it could do.
ChatGPT.
That's why it could do magical things.
Yeah.
Like control humans, which is essentially a metaphor for how it manipulates our opinions anyway. It can
Oh,
do.
it's completely the internet. Well, not the internet, but the things that use the internet completely manipulate the human race.
I love the way it did that
Yeah.
with its kind of via the phone, and it would
So-
speak to
so
anyone
does-
and do thought control.
So
It's
does
a
the
modem.
sun. So does the sun. So does the weather manipulates human races. There's nothing about it we can do, Bob.
So does the moon.
Yeah, it does. Do you want to
I
get
like
rid of
the
it?
I like the fact that the Doctor tries to work out how powerful this computer is by asking him the square root of a number, and then the Doctor studies it and goes, "Oh yes, that's absolutely right." I mean, these days, I mean, about 10 years after this, we're walking around with pocket calculators that can
Yes.
do that anyway. Right? Whereas not this computer was like the size of a room or a post office tower just to control everything.
But it doesn't really translate, does it? I think the 60s they had decent enough computers.
Yeah.
So I don't know why they thought having the square, unless it was just like, oh, the kids won't
I was
understand.
going to say, oh, it's impressive to kids, isn't it? Because it's like they don't get all that, and it's like just to see it so quick, and then the Doctor be able to verify it off the top of his head was another way of showing his
show
power.
really how clever he is, really. Isn't it?
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, that's it.
Or he's just a bullshitter and we don't know the answer because none of us can verify.
Did none of
it.
us check it?
Well, to be honest, it wouldn't have only just impressed the kids; it would have impressed their parents as well. Because most of them wouldn't have known what how powerful that computer was at all. They'd have looked,
Congratulations
"Oh,
on Bob
yes."
on having a pocket calculator in the 21st century.
Look at
Look
Yeah.
at that. God, blimey, it's like
Is that a pocket
1986
calculator?
has
Can
said
you
hello
actually
to
walk
me.
around with that in your pocket?
that. Yeah, but I could get it in
You could
some
get it in your
combat
back pockets.
trousers. Yeah, but yeah, it's I love a calculator. I like prefer it than the phone. Feel like you're doing
I
something
do.
rather than
I just
I've
use
got
my
the
phone
phone.
because I mean it's not about feeling whether I'm doing something, it's about working out the answer to a fucking maths question. So that's pretty much why I use the first thing.
Just
that's in
ask
my head.
Alexa.
I like a calculator.
Just
I like
ask
it.
Alexa. Just go square root.
No, because she's AI. She's the internet. I'm not on the internet anymore.
Yeah, but she'll
None
be
of it.
right though, won't she?
Yeah,
Don't
could be
care.
right.
I work it out myself using a
That's-
pen and paper.
Yeah.
Mum always says thank you to Alexa, and she tells me off if you don't. It's
Well,
rude.
that's an attitude problem. That is.
Alfred's got into Alexa now, so he knows how to work it and stuff like that. And he keeps asking for like random stuff, and then she doesn't fully understand him, so she'll start playing some very sweary gangster rap for blast.
You can.
And I'm like, you
Yeah.
can't fucking do this, man. It's like
Just make sure your Amazon account isn't properly attached to that Alexa, because you could end up with a flipping Porsche parked up outside your flipping front door.
Alexa,
Alfred's-
fucking Porsche, you twat.
I mean, of all the things you think you can buy off Amazon, a Porsche is probably the least likely.
I know what type of Amazon are you on?
Yeah.
Suky?
He's got his dodgy backstreet Amazon that he's got, or his DVDs.
Can you order cars on Amazon? You can order everything else, can't you?
You probably
So-
can.
Probably.
Or kidneys.
Or a
No,
part,
there's
car part.
there's automotive parts. You can maybe get all the parts for a Porsche and fit it together at a 4-year-old with no mechanical knowledge, apart from
No,
what
but
he's
he could
learned
find
off
out that
Gecko's
mechanical
garage.
knowledge by going on YouTube and working out how to do it. Oh,
He
but,
could
yeah.
do, yeah.
Which is
Or you could
being
read a
on
book.
the internet.
Yeah.
Anyway, William Hartnell in this story, I think, is actually it's one of his better performances because sometimes,
especially for the third season.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's less arsehole-y.
yeah, there's less of the
thought.
when he does it. He's quite warming actually. He feels quite approachable as a doctor. You know, he's caring about Dodo. He builds his relationship with Ben and Polly. Suki's not happy about this. No, you're not sure. You're not agreeing.
No, okay, he cares about Dodo, but he doesn't really care about Polly
Nah,
because on
I
a
got
few
that feeling
occasions,
too, yeah.
on a few occasions, Ben becomes his sort of companion in the last two episodes because there's no Dodo. Polly has been taken over, and Ben is trying to get the doctor to say, "Look, I've got to do this with Polly. I've got to find Polly," and the doctor keeps dismissing him, and then he sends a war machine to the post office tower, knowing that the people that are there who are under control of Wotan,
And of course, he's not going to
be
take
killed
them,
off.
is he? Yeah, he's going to leave them behind.
Which includes Polly being up there. He doesn't know that Ben has managed to get her out.
I mean, but with Ben as well, he's basically sending him in to die.
Yeah.
Go to all these places where you're probably going to die.
It's what a great leader does all the time, Bob.
But he totally did that,
Yes,
didn't he?
Cannon fodder. That's
just like me at DFE, if my boss tells me to go and put myself, jump off a bridge, I'll happily do it because
because you value your employment.
Certain death is just part of my my fun, my package.
Anyway, enough about your package. I love that bit when it's the doctor comes out of the TARDIS and he puts the out of order sign up. That's shown on quite a lot of clips. That's not the kind of iconic moment I always think that they do. So the police officer doesn't actually go in there, and Dodo's. I thought Dodo would have known that actually. What era is she from?
That year, 66, wasn't he?
So when she's like, "Why are you doing that?" It's pretty obvious why he does it.
Was there still police spots up and around at that point?
Yeah, because that police officer tries to go in, doesn't he? Yeah, 60s are still there. Aren't they?
Yeah, 60s are still there.
Yeah,
I think it's in the 70s they start.
I thought that looked a bit dodgy. He goes in with a young girl and puts "Do Not Disturb" on the outside.
Oh,
He doesn't hang a sock on the fucking handle, does he?
Because now it's not his granddaughter. Before it was all right, but now it's like, whoa.
Yeah, what's going on in there?
That's another reason to bring in Ben.
Yeah.
Talking of which, I wasn't 100% convinced by Ben. I thought he was a little bit of a caricature of a Navy boy.
Oh, did you see his hat?
Yeah,
oh, what's it called?
Teaser.
HMX teaser, isn't it? Yeah, I spotted that. Yeah, I was like,
I don't even think he was a proper Navy boy. I think
that
he
was the
just
first
dressed
time
up
I
like
spotted
that.
that.
Yeah, it's first time me as well. Because I quite like Ben, but he looks better in the animation than he does in real life, in the cartoon ones when he's missing. But
so you cracked one off over an animation of Ben.
I mean,
hey, listen, when I was growing up, He-Man was my best friend at night.
There's also a slight continuity problem, the bit because if you notice in some of the outdoor filming, Ben's hair is cut really short, and when you got all the indoor filming, it's actually grown because there's been about a month and a bit between filming.
Suky, did you actually spot that, or did you read it?
Yeah, no, I spotted that. You see when he's trying to put the rope around. The rope around.
It's weird thinking that this fictional TV program isn't just something that's made by TV people. It's not actually real. And trying to separate that in your mind when you're watching it must be really tough for a pedant.
Okay, then I just like the fact that we got Mike Reed, who's playing one of the baddies, or one of the control people in the second episode, and then he's got his twin brother, who's a soldier, in about the fourth episode. So there you go. There's a bit of canon between the two. Why Mike Reed appears in two different seasons, two different characters in the same story.
I think the cast in this is actually really strong. I think everyone, maybe, Ben I can kind of go with you on that one a little bit, John. Ben might be a bit iffy at times, but they're all, even though the scientists and the security guard, they're really good. And Mr. Charles, I think
Charles.
Yeah, there's not it's not so wooden as it can be sometimes in the Hartnell era. There's a real kind of, I don't know, even that bit where Wotan's first taking over them and the guy's looking at the camera and stepping back and kind of grabbing his head. It just looks really well done and quite menacing. That's how I found it.
I thought you could tell season 3 has a big change in the behind the scenes. So there's a lot more going on, and they're trying to have it for the adults as well as the kids. They know it's quite a big show. There's rumblings that they might get rid of Hartnell. Whether Hartnell picked up and started working a lot harder, I'm not sure. but it just feels new again at this point.
There's no fluffing of lines by him, is there? It's all quite.
It looks
well
like
done.
he's pretty bang on.
Yeah, and his poses he's pulling, at the end of episode 3 when he's kind of staring at the machine trying to phase it out.
Yeah.
He holds it. It does look a bit.
That's a great scene though. I love that scene.
Yeah.
He just stands there and confronts a war machine, doesn't back down, whereas everybody else has just gone beyond the.
You might have thought it was a big fridge.
Yeah. Did have Frigidaire written on the front of it, so it could have been.
Well, if you sort of think about it, this is the War Machines and Smugglers, the 10th planet.
Yes.
Is this there for? Is it Innes Lloyd and who was the script editor? Is it Dennis Spooner? I can't remember.
No, it'll be
Jerry Davis.
Jerry Davis. So if it's there, isn't that their first story? Or I don't know, have they been doing it for a while? Because things started to get a bit tighter. So you've got a lot more 4-parters.
Yeah.
After the Dalek Master Plan, epic and all that. You sort of got the arc 4-parter. Celestial Toy Maker, Gunfighter, Savages, War Machine, Smugglers, and 10th Planet, and everything just got that much tighter. Because the 4-part Doctor Who is normally, particularly in the 60s and 70s, better constructive and tight narrative.
Well, Innes Lloyd joined with Celestial Toy Maker, which is about 3 or 4 stories before this, and the story editor.
This is so much better than that.
Jerry Davis was from the Masker onward, so he's been there for a while as well.
Isn't Kit Pedler an advisor on this as well? So you've got that kind of.
It's his story, wasn't it?
Is it his story? So you can see already where kind of like it's going down that Cybermen, the science menacing approach rather than just it's got a real
taking over for humans.
Yeah.
Well, they got scientific advisors on site as well, so they had people they could refer to with all the sciencey stuff rather than just making it up. This was the time
I always doubt these times when people.
I always doubt it when he goes scientific. You might have invited someone like me, just like shit.
No, they did. They spoke to people like Patrick Moore, the astronomer, and they had other people like that as well.
They weren't on site though, as such. They were asked for story ideas.
Yeah,
they were asked for story ideas, and they all sort of refused. There's only Kit Pedler that came up with anything.
But I thought they did have advisors though, didn't they, on the more technical side of stuff?
On the weird.
But it wouldn't have been the likes of Patrick Moore and the ones that you mentioned.
No, but they were people
that
spoke to and all that kind of.
They must have done because they're quite. If you think about the historical ones, they're historically accurate mostly. So they've gone to history advice.
I think that's down to this. That's down to the script. It's more the science stuff that people don't tend to know.
But they might have checked it out in the same way. That's what I'm saying. If not everyone knows about the history, so they'll go and check it out.
Science like a computer being able to mind control a human. Stuff like that. Yeah.
There's a quote from Terence Dicks, I think. Terence Dicks has always written that if you want to research a historical story, just go to the children's section and just read the history.
Yeah, that's all you need.
And then you're okay with that.
Gives you the bullet points.
It absolutely does.
Okay, guys,
was it pre? I'm just checking now. Was it pre? It was pre 2001 Space Odyssey film because that was 68.
But the book would have been a lot earlier than that.
Are you trying to make a point that Doctor Who did something before?
Yeah.
What point are you trying to make?
Again, Cliff's just found something amazing.
You didn't find something amazing earlier on. It was wrong.
It's fucking right. I'm telling you, the internet says
it's fucking wrong.
Wrong. It's right.
What?
I think
I'm
Arthur
probably
C.
more
Clarke.
likely to be Harvey Weinstein than Ryan Epstein.
Arthur C. Clarke nicked the story. 2001. Yeah, I heard it first.
The scene in the club is quite mixed for me. When they're kind of they're having the fight because I found that a little bit tedious. And also,
I thought that's a bit of a lie because in the 60s you're allowed to touch women. Seen it.
that is true. I mean, it's like that in the 80s as well, wasn't it, Sheps?
Yeah.
See.
And
then they fucked that up for everyone.
Oh my god!
Because even the way she just goes over to the side of the bar and starts pulling these faces, and suddenly he's the happiest bunny. I found that a little bit, and then he has the fight because that man's really cheesy. But yeah, I was a bit.
But it's just like how they're going to get that connection, and he's protected her, so it's like. And then obviously she doesn't want it and all that kind of stuff. But it was funny at the beginning where.
Or does she want it, but she just pretending she doesn't
Exactly.
want it.
Yeah, she teased.
But at the beginning where he's like, "This is my secretary, Polly," and she puts the tea on and she's quite cheeky.
Yeah, I know that was really bad, wasn't it?
This
Yeah,
is
that was
brilliant.
Walton's even faster typer than. It's like, yeah, I did spot that. But again, it was of its era, wasn't it? So
Of course it is. Yeah. It just makes me laugh seeing it now.
Yeah,
I love to. You can't do that nowadays, can you?
Well, I quite liked all the 60s images and things like the news broadcast and the language and just the people and the dress in the street. That's one of the things I enjoyed about it. It was done. It wasn't like a modern recreation. It was it. You were actually watching.
So, I mean, it's not much to point out that you were watching something that was filmed in the 60s, looking like it was filmed in the 60s. It's not a big thing.
Did well.
It's not like they did it today and said it in the 60s.
But what I meant is it was nice to see the real thing and actually it being authentic.
That's the class thing about watching these old Doctor Who's is to see all the different
images.
You know, it's a little snapshot into a certain time period, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like the famous shots of the Cybermen walking down the steps or the Daleks coming over the bridge. They're brilliant.
Yeah.
I love it.
And Wotan knocking over those boxes.
Wotan knocking over the box.
War Machine.
One of the lightest cardboard boxes I've ever seen.
Nothing in them. Why did he make boxes with nothing in them?
I mean, they must have had a massive budget for this because didn't they have 9 different war machines?
Well, they've got the numbers confused, didn't it? They've got the numbers confused. So there's one where it's 9, and then the next minute it's a 3, and then 3, it's back to a 9 again. Yeah,
that was quite entertaining. That I love that little thing. Just gave the impression there's so many of them, and you never really see one, don't you? I thought it was really cute.
One of the things I also like about this is the tramp. The tramp that catches the cab and then gets killed off the poor lad. He's got quick on his feet as well. The way he runs
I like the cabbie as well. He was quite entertaining.
The cabbie, yes.
Yeah.
I want me money. I'll go anywhere. I want me money.
Yeah.
You should have been able to relate to that, Suky.
I do occasionally, yes, I do.
You know, it's 4 parts, and the ones I saw, I don't know about you guys, but ones I saw, I think the 3rd and the 4th, I had stills in some places.
Did
it
you?
was still, yeah.
No, it's the DVD that they did a full redo.
Oh right, I had a really old one then,
because there was bits missing and the piece bits together and all that kind of.
Why are you watching a really old one when it's on iPlayer?
Because I downloaded them all. I'm not wasting that 1,000 gig of waste I put on Prog.io. So I always watch the pre-remastered and pre-this.
Brilliant, Cliff.
I'm watching how it was originally intended.
Well, it wasn't because
it wasn't.
Telesnaps and all that.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Do you think it was broadcast in telesnap form?
Yeah.
And you probably watch. If you have been watching that, you've probably also been watching the one which got all the missing bits in anyway.
Yeah.
Because, as in, like, it's been edited from the Australian networks or New Zealand, I should say.
Well, it was still good. I still found it fast paced. I was going to say. I still thought it was fast enough.
It didn't drag, actually, did it? Yeah, there was no lull. I mean,
right.
there are bigger lulls in Pertwee stories sometimes. It kept its pace going. I didn't find it boring. So that's what I liked about it. Is it was a real sweet Hartnell story, which was quite creative.
Mm. And he wasn't an arsehole as much as he normally is.
Yeah.
So it was all very, very uplifting in a way.
There we go.
There we go.
Okay, so
Done.
any guys, any final thoughts on this or no?
It's
We'll
over
go
now.
on to
On to the next one. That's what I
Two
say.
words.
Yeah.
No, we've got to go to 2 words. 2 words. So let's go, Craigie.
I'm going to go retro classic.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was just good old fashioned Doctor Who.
Bob.
Into not.
Okay, I'll let that go. I don't know why.
we all look at see all our eyes. Anyone watching on YouTube, watch our eyes look like what's he saying.
Well, I was looking at John to make sure that was okay. And he never said anything, so I'm going to let it go.
I was just
words,
baffled.
It's a play on words. Into not saying no to the internet.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Me,
highbrow for you.
War Epstein. He was in it. I'm gonna fucking find it. I'll find it.
You find it, send it to me.
Right,
You find it, send it to me because I've just been on the TARDIS database and it is.
They don't know.
There's
They don't know
nothing on
everything.
there.
They don't know
about
what's in
Epstein.
here. I know.
We don't want to know what's up in there. Flipping heck, it's dangerous. John, your 2 words, mate.
Well, I'm gonna obviously dedicate this to Ben, and I'm gonna say fresh semen.
Oh,
yeah.
why did I not come out with that?
Yeah, because you usually swallow it.
Yeah.
Feeling hungry now.
All right, so my 2 words is going to be Vonky Volton.
Oh, nice.
Wicked.
We've now got to go on to what we're going to choose for our next story.
Oh,
No.
Will it be the new series, then, won't it? Will it be
Yeah,
by the time we
it'll
do our
be-
next
yeah,
one?
Well, it'll be the new series for me because this is going to be in April. So we'll do a little production meeting live on air. So this is our April episode.
I mean, you say this, Bob, but
And-
me and you've already decided in the background, haven't we? So
Oh yeah, well we didn't
Yeah,
decide.
yeah.
We chatted about.
no, we
Because-
decided.
because-
Yeah,
Because,
decision
I
made.
mean, you can do what you want, but I've had a new child baby thing, so I was thinking that we wait until May for the new series. 'Cause it's only
I would. It's only next month, isn't it? If this is April's, then
Plus-
May start.
because
Plus, in a
you get
couple
the-
of
you
weeks,
get
we've got the Big Finish one
Big
coming out
Finish
as
on,
well.
yeah.
So yeah, we're
the
good.
I would-
finale.
I thought we're doing that now.
No,
when
not
it's
Cliff,
when it's released, Cliff.
Oh,
Don't
shit.
give away the trade secrets.
Oh, right.
We're
Okay,
doing that in
okay.
2 weeks' time, and then it'll be the new series. So it'll be a new season of Around the Console, ready for the new series. So we'll be finishing with Master.
But if there's a massive media campaign or a backlash from Twitter that says they want us to do something, then fair enough.
I
If
think
you
my mum
demand-
will be
I'll
all
start
right.
it now then.
If you demand, yeah, but then yeah, it sort of will tie in nicely. I think that one, won't it?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
just
I think so,
my
yeah.
opinion.
I that's what I assume would
I
happen.
mean, Sucky, you've got enough fucking podcasting to do, haven't you? Anyway,
I know, jeez,
I know,
Christ,
yeah.
on everything.
What do you mean? I've only
Everything.
got no,
everything.
yeah, it's quite a bit.
Joe
Is it?
Rogan.
Because I don't see any of it. I don't.
I mean, I don't
Okay.
listen to it either, but
No.
I, once
The
a month
amount
is
of
enough
books
for me.
you've read as well, it keeps coming up. Look, Sucky read this, Sucky read this.
Oh yeah, I've
just
been reading
just
loads of
showing
books.
off. Just showing
Yeah.
off. innit?
I
I
just
can read. Look at me.
I can read a book.
Yeah. Okay, so in that case, we shall be seeing all you guys in a couple of weeks' time when we discuss the Big Finish story, Master.
Yeah.
So, on behalf of Cliff, Bob, Craig, and John, it's goodbye from us.
Bye, folks.
Bye.
Bye.
Right, how the fuck you stop recording?